If you find this information valuable, subscribe to the channel. We begin immediately. There is a foundational error in modern male-female dynamics that is the root of most failure. It is the act of abdication. Before she entered your life, you had a mission, or at least you should have, a set of goals, a physical regimen, a career path, a financial plan. This is your purpose. It is the core of your masculine identity, the engine of your life. The single greatest mistake, the original sin from which all other relationship failures are born, is to abandon this purpose. It is the moment you make her your new purpose. The psychology is simple, yet men violate it every single day. She is attracted to the man on the path. She is drawn to the competence, the drive, the direction, the fact that your world is moving. She is a passenger who is attracted to the vehicle you are driving, the vehicle of your life. The moment you stop driving, pull over, get out, and hand her the keys, the journey is over. You think it's romantic. You think that by dropping your friends, your gym schedule, your business projects, and your personal development to be available for her 24/7, you are showing her love and commitment. You are not. You are communicating that your life was empty before she arrived. You are signaling that your purpose was so fragile that a single new person could completely derail it. This isn't attractive, it's a silent alarm. At first, she may even encourage this. It feels good to be prioritized. She might complain, "You work too much," or "You're always at the gym." Do not be fooled. This is a test. It is a subconscious probe to check the strength of your frame and the rigidity of your purpose. She is asking, is your mission real, or will it crumble the moment I apply pressure? Are you the stable oak I can lean against, or are you a flexible willow that will bend to my every whim? When you bend, when you drop your mission, you fail the test. She will not send you a notification. She will not consciously think, "I've lost respect for him." She will just feel it. The attraction will begin to wane. The spark she felt will fade. And she won't even be able to explain why. She will just say, "I don't feel it anymore," or "You've changed." And she is right. You did change. You stopped being the man she met, and you became a satellite orbiting her. This abdication of purpose is almost always followed by the act of idealization. You don't just stop your mission, you replace it by making her the mission. This is the act of placing her on a pedestal. You see her as perfect, flawless, a goddess. You tell her she's too good for you, and that you don't deserve her. You have just signed your own death warrant. The psychological trap here is twofold. First, she knows she is not perfect. She is acutely aware of her own flaws, her insecurities, her bad days. When you worship her as a flawless being, she subconsciously concludes one of two things. Either you are a fool who is blind to reality, or you are a liar trying to manipulation. In neither case can she respect you. Second, a pedestal is a cold, lonely, and high place. You are not loving her. You are loving a fantasy you've projected onto her. You have created an impossible standard that she cannot live up to. This forces her to either maintain a fake persona, which builds resentment, or to actively test you. She will start to act out. She will disrespect you. She will become more difficult to see how long it takes for you to see the real her. She is subconsciously pushing to see if you are attracted to her or just to the fantasy. When you put a woman on a pedestal, the only place she can look at you is down. This pedestalization often manifests in another critical error, the desire to become her fixer. Because you see her as this perfect, fragile being, you believe she must be protected from all hardship. A woman will come to you with her problems. She will vent about her boss, her friend, her family. Your masculine instinct, the same one that builds empires and solves problems, will kick in. You hear a problem and you provide a solution. You are a fixer. You must fight this instinct. This is not to say you should be a cold, unfeeling wall, but you must understand the difference between support and servitude. When you immediately jump into fix-it mode for all her emotional turmoil, you are stepping out of the role of a lover and into the role of a therapist, or worse, a girlfriend. This shatters romantic polarity. If you are getting value from this, subscribing is the best way to support the channel. It costs you nothing and ensures you see this content. The psychology at play is one of polarity. Masculine energy provides stability, direction, and a calm, logical container. Feminine energy is, by its nature, more fluid, emotional, and sometimes chaotic. She doesn't always want you to solve her emotional chaos. She wants to know that her chaos doesn't destroy your stability. She is testing the container. If you become just as frantic, just as emotional, just as invested in her drama as she is, you are no longer the stable oak she can lean against. You are just another leaf blowing in the same wind. Your job is to listen, to validate her feeling, not necessarily her logic, and to remain unshaken. By fixing everything, you rob her of her own agency and signal that you are just a utility, a tool to be used, not a man to be desired. And because you have positioned yourself as a utility, you have implicitly given her permission to treat you as one. This is where a man fails the most important test of all. He begins to tolerate disrespect. It starts small. It is never a grand, obvious gesture. It is a sarcastic comment, a joke at your expense in front of friends. It's her checking her phone while you are in the middle of speaking to her. It's showing up late, repeatedly, without a real apology. These are not accidents. They are probes. They are feelers. She's subconsciously testing the strength of your boundaries. The broken windows theory applies to relationships just as it does to neighborhoods. A single broken window that goes unrepaired signals that no one cares, and soon all the windows are broken. When you let a small act of disrespect slide, when you laugh it off nervously or ignore it to keep the peace, you are sending a clear, loud signal. My boundaries are negotiable. I do not value myself enough to demand respect. This is critical to female psychology. A woman cannot and will not maintain attraction for a man she does not respect, and she cannot respect a man who does not respect himself. When you check her disrespect calmly, firmly, and without emotion, you are not being a jerk. You are demonstrating that you have a spine. You are demonstrating that you are the container. Your boundaries show her that she is safe because you are strong enough to not only protect her, but to protect yourself from her. If you let her walk all over you, she may like the convenience, but she will be disgusted by the weakness. This tolerance for disrespect, this belief that you are not enough on your own, leads directly to the next critical failure. You attempt to buy her affection. You become the provider of resources, not the provider of value. This is the act of sacrificing your financial future, or at least your financial dignity. This is not about being cheap. It is about the vast difference between generosity and stupidly. In the early stages of dating, or even in a relationship where loyalty has not been solidified, many men believe they must buy her interest. They become a walking ATM. They pay for everything, buy lavish gifts, solve all her financial emergencies. This is the provider trap. Yes, female psychology is wired to seek a man with resources. This is a biological and evolutionary reality. But it is a fundamental misunderstanding to think this means just giving resources away. What she is truly attracted to is competence, ambition, and status. The ability to generate resources, not the desperation to give them away. When you just hand over money, when you become her financial fixer, you are not a high-value man. You are a utility. You are a wallet. You are signaling that your only value is your money. This dynamic kills attraction because there is no challenge, no respect. You are a resource to be extracted. She will stay with you until a better resource comes along or until she is simply bored. A man who values his own resources, who spends them wisely on a woman who has earned her place in his life through loyalty and partnership, is attractive. A man who throws his money away on a woman he barely knows is a fool, and she will treat him as such. This weakness bleeds into your very identity. You become a chameleon. This is the man who abandons his core identity. He meets a woman and suddenly he loves everything she loves. He hates everything she hates. He abandons his hobbies, his style of dress, even his core opinions on life, just to be more agreeable, to create a false sense of connection. This behavior is rooted in a deep lack of self-worth. You are communicating in no uncertain terms that who you were was not good enough. You are so desperate for her approval that you are willing to annihilate your own personality and rebuild it in her image. This is deeply unattractive. The psychological truth is that she was initially attracted to you, the man you were before you started trying to be what you thought she wanted. She was attracted to your unique opinions, your different hobbies, the very friction that comes from two distinct individuals meeting. By becoming her mirror, you remove all polarity, all mystery, all identity. You become a bland, predictable, and spineless reflection. She cannot trust a man who has no center, who doesn't stand for anything. This loss of identity is the precursor to the loss of autonomy. This is the subtle trap of we. In the beginning, it feels romantic. What are we doing this weekend? What do we think about this? But it quickly spirals into a state of enmeshment, where your individual identity is completely dissolved into the relationship. You lose the ability to say I. You stop having your own thoughts, your own plans, your own space. This is the critical difference between interdependence and codependence. A healthy, attractive relationship is interdependent. Two complete, autonomous individuals choosing to build a life together. They have their own lives and they share the overlap. Codependence or enmeshment is two half individuals clinging to each other to feel whole. From a psychological perspective, attraction requires space. It requires mystery. It requires that you are a whole person outside of her. When you sacrifice your autonomy, when you merge your entire social circle, when you have no individual pursuits, you sacrifice all mystery. You become predictable. Furthermore, it creates a subtle, suffocating pressure. She may even be the one pushing for this we dynamic, but she will be the first one to feel smothered by it. By maintaining your autonomy, by having your own friends, your own nights out, your own I, you are signaling that you choose to be with her, you don't need to be with her. That choice is powerful. That neediness is repulsive. This neediness, this fear of being alone, is precisely what causes the most catastrophic failure. The willful ignorance of red flags. You see them, you know you do. The way she talks about her exes, all of them are crazy or abusive. The subtle entitlement she shows, the way she treats the waiter or her own family. The male best friend who is clearly an orbiter. The inconsistencies in her stories. These are not small things. These are giant, flashing neon signs, and your desperation for this relationship to work creates a cognitive dissonance. It's called confirmation bias. You want her to be the one. You've already invested time, emotion, and money. This is the sunk cost fallacy. So, your brain actively filters out any information that contradicts your desired narrative. You are not in a relationship with her. You are in a relationship with the potential you've projected onto her. You are dating a fantasy. By ignoring these red flags, you are communicating to yourself and to her that your standards are non-existent. You're telling her that she can get away with anything because your fear of losing her is greater than your commitment to your own well-being. This is the definition of low value. A high-value man assesses reality. He has standards. He's willing to walk away from a bad investment, no matter how much he has already sunk into it. Your willingness to walk away, to enforce your standards, is your ultimate source of power and, paradoxically, attraction. This fear of losing her creates another common mistake. You become unpredictably available. This is the classic nice guy syndrome. You text back in 0.2 seconds every single time with a 5-sentence reply to her one-word text. You cancel your important plans, your gym session, your work project, your time with friends the moment she suggests a last-minute, low-effort hangout. You are always on her backup list. You are the dependable, reliable, and utterly boring option. The psychology here is the principle of scarcity. Humans, in all areas of life, place more value on things that are scarce and difficult to obtain. If your time, your attention, and your presence are always available 24/7, they are, by definition, low value. They are abundant. There is no urgency, no challenge, no desire to win it. This is not about playing games. It is not about a 3-day rule. It is about having a life. A man with a purpose, which is where we began, is genuinely busy. He cannot always text back immediately. He cannot always drop everything for her. His time is valuable because he is using it to build his empire. When he does give her his time, it means something. It is a genuine gift, not a default setting. By being scarce, not as a manipulation tactic, but as a natural byproduct of having a high-value life, you become something to be earned, not something that is simply expected. But what happens when this foundation of weakness, this lack of purpose, this over-availability, this tolerance of disrespect finally leads to its inevitable conclusion? She begins to pull away. The text becomes slower. She's busy more often. The affection fades. You feel her slipping away and the panic sets in. This is the end of the line. And it is where men make the final and most destructive error. They resort to desperation. This desperation takes two forms, begging or ultimatums. Let's be unequivocally clear. The moment you beg, you have lost. When you say, please don't leave me, what did I do wrong? I'll do anything. You are confirming every negative thought she already had about you. You are validating her decision to leave. You are stripping yourself of all dignity, all power, and all self-respect. You are making yourself repulsive. Attraction cannot coexist with pity. They are mutually exclusive. She may even stay for a week or a month out of guilt, but she will not be staying with a lover. She will be staying with a patient. You will be an obligation, a burden. And the disgust she feels for your weakness will curdle into a resentment that makes the eventual, final breakup far more brutal than it needed to be. You are not fighting for the relationship. You are cementing her contempt for you. The other side of this desperate coin is the ultimatum. This is the man who tries to regain control through force. If you loved me, you would stop talking to that guy. If you don't commit to me, we're done. This is an attempt to force an emotional outcome. This triggers a powerful psychological principle called reactance. When a person feels their freedom of choice is being threatened, they will instinctively rebel against the person applying the pressure, even if they were leaning that way to begin with. You cannot logically or forcefully convince a woman to feel desire. Desire is inspired. It is an involuntary emotional response. When you issue an ultimatum, you are not being strong. You are revealing your hand. You are showing that you have no other options, that you are so terrified of losing her that you must resort to emotional blackmail. A truly strong man doesn't issue ultimatums. He simply is the standard. His presence is the choice. If a woman's behavior is unacceptable, he doesn't try to force her to change. He removes his presence. He walks away. This is the ultimate truth. You cannot control her attraction. You cannot negotiate for desire. You cannot beg for respect. These things are earned, not requested. They are the natural byproduct of your own self-respect. They are the result of having a mission, of enforcing your boundaries, of valuing your own time, of building your own life, and of having the unwavering strength to walk away from anyone, no matter how beautiful, no matter how much you've invested, who does not meet your standard. The only correct response when a woman wants to leave is to maintain your dignity, your composure, and let her go. Your strength in the face of loss is the only thing that has even a remote chance of reattracting her. And more importantly, it is the only thing that allows you to keep your self-respect. If you have made it this far, this information was meant for you. Subscribe to the channel because the lessons don't stop here.